Welcome back to Baldy's Thoughts, where we separate truth from myth and challenge the stories that have shaped our world. Today, we're exposing one of the biggest lies in the Bible, the Tower of Babel. Was it really divine punishment, or just another recycled myth? Stay tuned as we break down the origins, the stolen narratives, and the real agenda behind this biblical tale. You don't want to miss this one. I know how this ends. I will be called lost. I will be called deceived. I will be called the enemy. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because the truth isn't always easy to find, but I'm here to bring it to you. 1. The story is stolen from older myths. The Tower of Babel, Genesis 11:1-9, claims that humanity once spoke one language. People built a tower to reach the heavens. God became angry, confused their language, and scattered them. However, this story was not original to the Bible. It is a modified version of an older Sumerian myth. The Sumerian Connection, a stolen story. Over 1,000 years before Genesis was written, the Sumerians recorded a nearly identical tale in En-Merkar and the Lord of Aratta, 2100 BCE. In this much older story, all humans once spoke one language. The god Enki confused their speech to prevent unity. This myth was widely known in Sumer, modern-day Iraq, the same region where Babel was supposedly built. This means the concept of one original language was not unique to the Bible. It was stolen from older civilizations. The Hebrews did not create this story. They copied and rewrote it to fit their theology. The original version was about gods preventing unity, just like Yahweh supposedly did in Babel. If Genesis is truly the word of God, why does it plagiarize Sumerian mythology? 2. No archaeological evidence for the Tower of Babel. The Bible describes a massive tower reaching the heavens, built in Shinar, Babylon. If this were true, we should find historical and archaeological evidence of it, but we don't. There is no Babylonian record of a divine language curse. Not a single inscription. Nothing. What do we find instead? The closest real structure to Babel is Etemenanki, a ziggurat dedicated to Marduk in Babylon. However, it was only 300 feet tall, not a structure reaching heaven. It was built and destroyed multiple times due to war, not divine intervention. Babylonians themselves never recorded a language confusion event. This proves that the Bible took a real temple project and turned it into a false theological lesson. No evidence, no historical records, no divine punishment, just another biblical exaggeration. The biggest flaw in the Tower of Babel's story is that languages do not change suddenly. Linguistics, the scientific study of languages, completely disproves Genesis. Languages evolve gradually over thousands of years. There was never a single original language that suddenly fractured. Modern linguistic trees trace languages back to multiple independent origins, not one single root language. The DNA evidence that shuts down Babel forever. Not only does linguistics prove Genesis wrong, but modern DNA analysis confirms that humans have been speaking different languages for over 100,000 years. The oldest human populations in Africa already had linguistic diversity tens of thousands of years before the alleged Babel event. Language families like Indo-European, Afro-Asiatic, Sino-Tibetan, and Mayan have no common origin. They did not split from a single point. This means there was never a single original human language that suddenly fractured. The Bible's version of language division is scientifically impossible. Humans have always been diverse, and the Tower of Babel is a myth used to deceive and control. 4. The purpose of the story: controlling knowledge. The Tower of Babel isn't just false, it's a tool of religious control. The true purpose of the story is to instill fear of human progress. This theme repeats throughout the Bible. In the Garden of Eden, Yahweh forbids humans from eating the tree of knowledge. Noah's flood. Yahweh wipes out the world because humans were wicked. Jesus' crucifixion. The idea that suffering leads to salvation discourages rebellion. Why would religious leaders promote this story? Unity as strength. If humanity speaks one language, they can share knowledge, unite, and overthrow oppression. Knowledge equals power. Those who control religious texts control what people believe. Fear equals control. If you believe questioning God leads to punishment, you will submit to religious authority. The Tower of Babel teaches, if you work together, God will punish you. If you seek higher knowledge, God will strike you down. Stay divided, stay obedient, stay small. It is not history, it is psychological warfare. 5. If Babel is false, what else is false? If the Tower of Babel is a fabrication, then what about other biblical stories? Here's undeniable proof that the Bible is a collection of stolen myths. 1. The creation story, Genesis 1-2, copied from the Sumerian Enuma Elish, c. 1750 BCE. 2. Noah's flood, Genesis 6-9, a direct rewrite of the Epic of Gilgamesh, c. 2100 BCE. 3. Moses and the Exodus. No Egyptian records of Hebrew slaves or a mass escape. 4. Jesus' resurrection, preceded by earlier dying and rising gods like Osiris, Mithras, and Dionysus. This means the Bible is not a unique, divinely inspired text. It is a repackaging of older myths rewritten to fit a Jewish theological agenda. The Tower of Babel story is just one of many myths designed to manipulate belief. Anticipating counter-arguments. Preemptive strike. Some believers will try to argue against the evidence, so let's shut those arguments down before they begin. What if God really did confuse the languages supernaturally? Science disproves this. Linguists can trace languages back through history, and there is zero evidence of a sudden change. If this event happened, it would be recorded in every civilization's history. But it's not. Maybe the Tower of Babel was symbolic, not literal. Then why does Genesis present it as a historical event? The Bible treats Babel as real history, and so do most fundamentalist believers. If it's symbolic, then what else in the Bible is just a metaphor? But faith doesn't require evidence. That's exactly why religious texts like the Bible rely on faith to avoid scrutiny. But truth doesn't need faith. It stands on evidence. Final argument. The irrefutable case against the Tower of Babel. It was stolen from older myths, Sumerian, Hindu, Greek, Mayan. There is zero archaeological evidence for a divine language curse. Linguistics and DNA evidence prove languages did not split suddenly. The story was written to control people, not to explain reality. If this story is false, many others in the Bible are also fabrications. If the Tower of Babel is provably false, then the Bible is not an unquestionable divine text. If one story is a lie, how many others are also fabrications? The real question is, what else have they lied about? The Tower of Babel isn't history, it's control. And if this story is a lie, what else have they been lying about? Let's keep digging. What do you think? Was the Tower of Babel a divine act or just another fabrication? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into history, religion, and the hidden truths they don't want you to know. Until next time, keep questioning, keep thinking, and stay woke.